Hello, my name is Trey Francis. Welcome back. I am a screenwriter and an actor, and if you are new here, please consider subscribing. Also, hitting the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I post. Also, if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, and a comment down below. So, and as you can see, this is going to be another one of my Join the Conversation videos, which is basically where I take a subject and or a topic from any of my social media platforms where things are sort of being discussed and then bringing that over to my channel so that we can discuss it here. And like I said earlier, I am an actor and I am a screenwriter. However, I want it to be known and be very clear about the fact that I am also someone who will stand up for injustices, who will speak out about injustices, and who will stand up for the underdog, the oppressed, whoever it is, right? I am also that person in my everyday life, and so I'm can't say I'm excited to discuss this necessarily. However, this is the perfect time to discuss this only because it's early on in my channel, and so people whom have something to say about it can get on, and people whom understand why it's important during this time to actually speak up and say something about it, then you'll stick around and you'll stay, and hopefully my channel will continue to grow and I'll be able to navigate both spaces as a creative, but then also as someone whom isn't afraid to speak up for what I believe is just and what I believe is fair and what I believe is the truth. So that's what we're gonna do in this video today. And so the topic of discussion for today is something that I saw over on Twitter. So as we know, there are three names that I want to just say at the beginning of my video, and then we'll get into this. Of course, we all know the names at this point, but it's Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd. So the conversation that has been going on over on Twitter has been about allies, allyship, like people showing up and being there as an ally to assist in the fight of injustice. And the allies that we are talking to in this instance and in these cases of the people whom I listed off are non-Black allies. And so this video is as much as it is for me and for the people who look like me, who have been experiencing such a burden as of late. And I can't even really say as of late. I feel like me personally, the burden feels like it's a daily thing. And I feel like that's the case for a lot of us, although we still try to maintain our happy and our sanity and our peace and our joy, right? It can be hard out here. So I wanted to talk to our non-Black allies and because this was the discussion that was going on, and I'm going to try to bring it to my channel and speak in it in a more nuanced way, but then also sort of segue it over into something that I think is also just very important. So I saw over there on my social media, I had a friend of mine, she posted PSA, speaking out against injustices doesn't ruin your social media aesthetic. Again, speaking out against injustices doesn't ruin your social media aesthetic. And I couldn't agree more, because oftentimes I feel like when things happen to us, meaning Black people, sometimes certain people are very quiet. During this time, I've been fortunate to see that with the different protests and marches that have been going on, I am seeing that people of all different ethnicities and backgrounds, races, right? Everyone's out there, and I really appreciate that. I really love to see it on my timeline, and it makes me feel as though some people are getting it, right? Some people are getting it, and some people are willing to stand side by side with us and really, put their necks on the line just as much as we are, because, they understand the weight of our plight, right? However, the conversation was that there are some who are unwilling to do the same. And I've noticed it, and you know, um, it can be hard because I'm a person who has friends from every sort of background that there is. I have a lot of non-black friends and I have a lot of black friends, but people feel as though our friends, right, our everyday friends, aren't necessarily showing up in a way that would make me and or others feel that they are true allies. For me, I liken it to, I remember when the Women's March happened, we were finding out all the things about Harvey Weinstein and others, et cetera, right, whom were sexually assaulting women and raping women and all these different things, particularly, it became a big thing once non-black women in Hollywood were speaking up about it, right? And who were at the forefront of those marches, who sort of created the Women's March and things like this, were people of color, black women, and we all showed up. We were all there. We all were marching. We all were using our platforms to speak up about the injustices. We were all asking for certain people to be arrested, to be go through a trial, go to trial, and then hopefully get a conviction when it comes to certain people being locked up and being taken care of, right? Having justice be served. However, that's not always the case when we see things happening specifically to black people and other people showing up and doing the same for us. And so that is the conversation that was started on Twitter that I could feel also in my everyday life. And so I wanted to speak on that and have that discussion over on my channel. So I wanted to start off by saying, sort of showing like the I don't know if the correct word is maybe like the duality of what's going on right now in a sense, but I want to sort of show like a contrast, maybe that's the better word I'm looking for, a contrast between what was going on at the start of this year when we just had COVID outbreak happening, and the whole we are all in this together, and contrast that with what is going on now that we're seeing these awful, heinous attacks on black humans, not black bodies, black humans, right? Black people, and how it just looks different. It just looks and it feels different because it doesn't feel like we're all in this together. That felt, okay, we're all in this together because literally it was affecting all of us. But I want people to understand that when we talk about allies, we're talking about when something doesn't necessarily affect you and or happens to you, that you still stand up and that you still make your voice be heard. I know that we were a big community who had something to say and fought for and marched and different things. When it comes to, we are a big community who march and have something to say when it comes to so many other injustices that necessarily isn't specifically only about us, but we might be included in it. We're out there, we show up. And I know that this is something that people oftentimes feel removed from because you're like, well, I'm not black. However, an ally is someone who stands up and who makes their voice be heard and who can use some of their resources, power, influence, money, whatever the case may be, right? Network, in order to assist and help move a cause forward, and then to bring about swift change, because at this, it can't be slow. Change can't be slow at this point. We're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and so we need more to be done now. So oftentimes, and I saw this online, someone said that we are oftentimes alone in this fight, and that is the hard thing, just because, like I said, a lot of us have non-black friends, and so I would love to see your timelines filled as much as you filled it for the women's movement and or for other things. You know what I mean? This pandemic that just happened, right? That we're still living in. I would love to see timelines filled like that, and the truth of the matter is, it just is not. It just is not. And I don't care about social media aesthetic on Instagram or Twitter. I could care less about that. I couldn't care less about that shit, right? Um, what we need for people to do is to stand up and make their voices be heard. And that's just period. That's just on period. Like we gotta do better. We gotta do better. And I wrote in my notes, I said, I can't begin to tell you how many of my non Black friends reached out to me when we were all experiencing this quarantine, right, due to COVID-19. However, it's been mighty silent since these murders by the police and racism displayed by the Karens in Central Park and at the rallies in all over the US right now, right? And the police brutality at these rallies, right? And so I said, where are the allies? Like I see them in the videos, right? I can see other people in the videos. I'm not blind. However, I think on that day to day, that every day, we still need people doing more and saying more and speaking up more. And I think that's the issue. And so I understand because people might be like, oh, well, you're saying like you see people. But that's why I said I wanted to add some nuance to the conversation and come at it at a slightly different perspective, right? So for me, I wrote, I'm noticing on social media and personally that a lot of Black people are experiencing this lack of concern from their non-Black counterparts. And I mean on a very interpersonal sort of way, right? One-on-one type of way. I said, where is the outrage? Where is the long overdue discussion with your own about the plight we face every day due to microaggressions and also outright racism, right? Where is it? Where is the love? Where is the concern, right? Where is the fight? And I think that is the part that I wanted to add to this conversation because, like I said, I've talked to plenty of friends, whether Black or other, right, about during this quarantine, right? And now it's specifically been friends who are checking in on me and me checking in on them about this brutality, about this unnecessary force, about these killings, right? It's just been me and my Black friends in this together. And that's a problem. And so we've all heard the saying, check on your strong friends, right? We've all heard that saying, right? I want to make a point because I think for me it's very true. I know it's very true in my friend groups. I feel like I'm that strong friend, and so I'm gonna make a point that is probably an unpopular opinion. However, here it is: your strong friends are your Black friends. Those are your strong friends. Your friends who suffer a lot on a daily basis, right? Due to systemic racism, due to everyday just different oppressive behaviors by Karens and Chads, due to us being followed in stores, due to us being a routine traffic stop escalating to the point in which we are now dead due to excessive force and violence by cops. All of these things, I feel like have strengthened us not only as a race and as a people and a community, but it has made it sort of this thing where, like I said, we're ending up having to be strong for each other, which is fine, right? However, we still need those allies to check in on us. We still need other people to say, how are you doing? How are you? How are you? I see all of this that is going on. You're my friend. How are you doing during this time? How can I help you, right? How can I be there for you? To me, that is very, 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 very important. And I've seen a lack of it just personally. And I've also seen that this has been the conversation that has been going on social media that other people feel they've seen a lack of in their personal sort of relationships with people, is this lack of concern and this lack of care. And if you do care and if you are concerned, reach out, because those are your strong friends. The amount of things that we have had to endure that I just listed, that makes a strong individual. That makes a strong group of people. We're resilient. We've been through so much and yet we're still here. That's a strong ass person. So the hot take is Your strong friend is your black friend oftentimes. That's your strong friend. Check on that person. Check on us. I wrote, your strong friends are your friends of color. Not always, but a fair amount of times that is the case. So in this moment that we're experiencing right now with the rallies and the police brutality and the killings and just the craziness, those are your friends that you should be checking on. Those are your friends that you should be centering, not your feelings, not your thoughts, right? But the feelings and the thoughts of your black friends, you should be asking them, how's it going? You should be asking them, how are you? How is your family dealing with this? Because the thing is, when something hits our community, it's not just, oh, it's that person and we're unaffected. It affects us all because we understand that that could have been us and it could still be us. Leaving our house every day means that we might not make it back home due to some BS. I wrote just a tip, because I'm about to wrap this up. Because I said just a tip, because I see these types of questions being asked all over social media, especially when we bring up this topic online. I see it being like, well, I am an ally, and specifically asking, allies specifically asking, what can I do? How can I support, etc., etc. Things like this. I'm just going to be very blunt about this because I've had this conversation with people, my family, with friends of mine, black people, black friends of mine. So I want to make this very clear. Education in this country is not free. I'm going to say it again. Education in this country is not free. Education in this country is also not cheap. Therefore, we are sick and tired of teaching without gaining anything from it. I know I am. And I've spoken to other people and they are too. It's exhausting. Telling the same thing over and over and over to different people. It's exhausting. I'd love for other people to talk amongst themselves because they're the people who really should be having these discussions. We know what it means to be black. We know the feeling that it means to walk around in brown skin and to be judged because of it, to be oppressed because of it. We know that. We experience that on a daily basis. We don't need to be a part of the discussions that you need to be having with yourselves, and we don't need to be teaching anymore. We're through with that. Especially if you're asking for free information, you can look elsewhere for that kind of free information, because having those type of conversations with us about how can you figure it out. That's just tea at this point. Figure it out. So my thing is, because I said, we are sick and tired of teaching without gaining anything from it. I said, be it an actual true ally, be it financial gain, be it structural change, be it power, be it redistribution of wealth and resources, then we really don't have anything to talk about and discuss. Because we're at a point now where those things that I just mentioned, those things need to start happening in like ASAP. ASAP. Should have been happened. Quite frankly, I wrote, we've done too much in this country for free. We've done it already. We're tired. We're tired. Don't ask us what. No. Figure it out. Figure it out. We've figured out a lot about other people that they did not have to tell us. Didn't have to go around asking how do we do this around you, and how do we figured that shit out. So if you can't figure it out without having to ask us, there's a problem. A major problem. Because I feel like it's been decades, centuries, we've had these conversations. They've all been had. Now it's time for certain people to have these conversations with yourselves, because you don't listen to us. Maybe you listen to your own, and that is the takeaway. That is the takeaway. Stop asking us because we have nothing more to offer for free. We have nothing more to offer for free. And that's just tea. That's on period. In my going out statement, I wrote, it's simply not enough to be our friend because your friendship isn't saving our lives. That's simply not enough at this point. So if you're not doing more, that's simply not enough. And to be honest, I'm at a point now, and I've seen it a lot on Twitter lately and on Instagram lately and on the other social platforms. A lot of us are at this point where we're just like, well, I don't need dead weight. I don't need something on me and around me that doesn't, you know what I mean? It's time for that to change, and I mean quickly, because we are tired. It's draining. It's exhaustive. It's about time you ask more of yourself and from yourself and stop asking more from us. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. I love everyone in my life. Just want to make that point known. I love everyone in my life, no matter what your color is, no matter what your ethnicity is. That doesn't matter to me, okay? But it's about time that we start having the right conversations, and that some people, and for some of these conversations, they leave us out of it because we've done the work. We've done the work. There are resources. If you look for them, you'll find them. But it's out there already. It's out there. Stop asking us. You know what I mean? If you're not coming to me and asking me, how are you? I see that this could have easily been you, because I understand that this is oppressive behavior. This is racist behavior. If you're not asking me that to see how I am, to see how my mental state is, people don't realize constantly seeing people who look like you dying, being murdered on camera and being filtered all over your timeline, how that fucks with your psyche, that fucks with your mental health. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. I love you all. I think anyone who's been watching my videos, I thank you guys so much. Yeah, yeah, we'll get through this. We will. But we have a lot of work to do, and I don't want anyone to think that just when this in 2-3 weeks, if we're no longer talking about this, that it's over. And the work, that's when the work starts. The real work starts. You know, when things aren't necessarily in the public view, that's when the real work starts. So, so yeah, that's all I have. But I thank anyone for watching this video. Again, if you wouldn't mind considering subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you're notified when I post more videos. I believe my next video will most likely be the next my next review of Insecure, because that is airing tomorrow, the 8th episode, I believe. So we will definitely be doing a review of that. And then hopefully some of this stuff will die down a little bit in a public way, right? We'll definitely still be dealing with this in a private way, but then I'll start to upload some of those other videos that were more fun content. I have another not get ready with me, but get to know me tag video that I want to post, and a few other videos that I want to post that are more lighthearted than this subject. But this was on my heart, and I saw it, like I said, online, and I wanted to bring the discussion to my page, so that is what I did. But I'm gonna get out of here, and I will talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.